were allowed to visit the Engenho Novo da Madeira rum distillery on the Portuguese island of Madeira. The distillery is located in the southwest of the island. We were given a fascinating insight into the production of William Hinton rum, which we can't wait to share with you. Let's start with the history of the William Hinton distillery. The history of the Engenho Novo da Madeira rum distillery dates back to 1845, when William Hinton founded the original distillery. By 1882, William Hinton was already the largest and most important distillery on the island. However, almost 100 years later, in 1986, the distillery had to close temporarily. It was not until 2006 that production was resumed under William Hinton's heirs. Initially, sugarcane production grew so fast that there was too much cane left over. The distillery used this to produce rum agricole, which was supplied to the local restaurants. It was not until some time later that the decision was made to mature the rum agricole in casks.
It all starts with the sugarcane. And here we see some sugarcane harvested from Madeira. The sugarcane that comes to the distillery is only sugarcane, so no molasses, and is all harvested by hand. So they produce agricole only from sugarcane and all harvested by hand, which is very expensive. So they pay about 400 euros per ton, which is really, really expensive. And they get it from local farmers, and they do have a bit of trouble to get a lot of sugarcane because a lot of young people don't want to harvest, and there's a lot of growing of residential areas, and that's a bit of a problem to get the harvest up. But so the harvest is rather going down. But nonetheless, the distillery gets their sugarcane. They do prefer the purple one, because that is the one with the most sugar, and they like that the most. They try to produce it fresh, but they also they have such a short harvest season. They can only harvest from 1st of April to the end of May, and that is when the sugarcane is harvested. So they do harvest a lot. They produce 80 tons per day, but some of it has to store a little bit. They can't produce all of it every day. So they do get a bit of pre-fermentation and a bit of the regional tastes of the yeast from the air that ferment the sugarcane inside the sugarcane, and that produces also flavors. And that is a bit of a regional flavor of the Madeira rum as well. So that was the intake, and let's see how that is pressed and continued. The pressing at the distillery is done in 2 steps. First, you're gonna do the shredding, then you're gonna do the pressing, and there's a second pressing. Strangely enough, they don't actually do a watering after the first pressing, where they soak it. They just add a little bit of water to it. I didn't even see where they add the water, so it's kind of like a first juice press. Bit of a different approach to that, and gives you a little bit more quality. You don't wash out all the bits from the sugarcane, but just the best juice. And what is then very Madeira style is a very short fermentation. You know, these high Easter rums, Jamaican and all that kind of stuff, they have like a week or even longer for fermenting. Here at Madeira, they only do it for 25 hours, which is basically a day. They do have mother tanks where they ferment the beginning or start the fermentation, and then add it to the real sugarcane juice in the 12,500 liters tanks. So that is then the real fermentation. The 24 hours of fermentation are really, as I said, short, that give you a clean taste, a green taste, a vegetable taste, a grassy taste. These are the flavors that are associated with Madeira rum, and that's what they're looking for here. They are a relatively young company that just expanded from 8 fermentation tanks to 18 fermentation tanks, or was it 4 to 18 over the last 8 years? And they're really investing into it, but they want to keep the tradition going as well. So let's head on. The center of the distillation, the still room. And we actually have 2 types of distillation. On this side we see very old traditional Portuguese alambic. And I've never seen these. They really look like condensers, tubular, and you can crank it and put it on the side and refill it and defill it, empty it by that. But they don't use that anymore. They do have a pump, but they actually do use this hundreds of years old equipment, and they do make a pot still rum as well, which is very, very fruity and very different. It's a different style of rum. So not their main product, but double distillation with 2 condensers and very, 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 very unique kind of thing. The main stuff is done here in the big column still, and the big column still actually has 22 floors and produces a very fine distillate. This here is their end product, which is strange. It only has 60%. Very grassy, herby, green, a little bit of vegetables in there. Oh, it's really nice. And let's try it. Still 60%. It's hefty, not matured at all. Just straight out of the still. Why is it only 60%? Do they run really low temperatures? No, they run normal temperatures, but they actually do have 4 shots. So they take the 4 shots and take them out. So at the very, very top, you have these feints of 4 shots. Not really 4 shots as it is continuous, but feints, the higher alcohols. I've also been able to smell them, and they're really, really window cleanery. And so they take these out, recycle them in the next run. So they do have a little bit of lower alcohol as they take their main rum from not the middle, but a bit lower than from the very top. So what is also really cool is they are very, very traditional in producing their steam. They have an old oven where they actually put chunks of wood in it and fire their oven up. Use also a bit of bagasso, leftover stuff from the pressing, and then that gives you the steam. I've seen already a lot of casks around here, so let's see what's inside these casks. So the maturation here on Madeira is, I don't want to say tropical because it's not tropical, but it's, I would say, warm. Mediterranean warm, that would be the best one to describe. So it's really warm in the summer. You have 30 degrees, 32 degrees, something like that. But the nights are really cold. We're up here in the mountains, that means the nights can be cold as 12 degrees. But that means there's a huge difference between day and night. So the casks really do a lot of breathing. So they get heated up, they cool down, they get heated up, and they expand and they compress. And as it's a natural material, it's very porous. It takes the alcohol and gives off the alcohol, takes the alcohol, gives off the alcohol. Very, very much interaction between the wood and the whiskey and the rum, I mean, and that means a lot of additive maturation. So but there is also a specialty that I don't want to leave out here at the distillery is there is a lot of regulation going on, and the regulation goes by the rule of 3. You can have it either 3-month-old, 6-month-old, or 9-month-old, or you can have it 3 years old, 6 years old, or 9 years old. You could go higher, but you usually don't do that because it is maturing very fast, and that would be over maturing the rum. So usually you have a 3 or maybe a 6-year-old, or the younger ones, I would say. You can mature it in different time slots, but you're only allowed to write that on the bottle. And the other thing is everything is checked really, really, really thoroughly by the authorities. You have a label on each cask, which is being put down with these seals, wax seals. The government puts its stamp on it, and you have the lid closed also by wax seals, puts the stamp on it, and you can't open it, taste it, during the time of maturation, you tell them, okay, this is the year 2022, and we want to open it in 2025, and in 2025 the taxman returns. So yeah, they say it's kind of a two-edged sword. The one side, you can't taste your stuff regularly, which is bad, but also you can't do it really, you can't fiddle around with it so much. So it really, you put yourself in a position where you do have to have a bit more patience with it. You have the taxman, you open it, you taste it, then you decide, okay, let's let it rest for another 3 years, or let's take it out and have to fill out the form. So the maturation here at the distillery or in Portugal is a bit more demanding than we know it from other places like Scotland or Caribbean or somewhere else. So that's it with the maturation, and let's continue. So I'm here with Paulo from Magnolia.
Exactly.
So you own your own restaurant, and you kind of came here because of the distillery?
Yes, of course. I came here because of William Hinton.
Okay.
I came here at the second rum festival back 5 years ago, and I fell in love with the island, fell in love with the people, and of course fell in love with the rum. So that's why I decided to move here.
Yeah, you know you're in and out, but you have your own restaurant, but you're kind of in and out of the distillery. You know everything. So thank you very much for showing us the distillery.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure always to share the rum love.
Oh yeah, we do love the rum. So what are we gonna have? What's with the William Hinton?
We can actually start with our 6 years. This is our flagship rum for us to be known around the world. Not only for the white rum that we use for poncha here and for cocktails. This is rum that we aged in French oak for 6 years, and then after we open the barrels, we do a second aging sort of period of 1 year in different types of casks, 5 different casks, which are sort of the most used, but for us very distinctive flavor, such as Madeira, port, whiskey casks, those kind of casks.
Oh, nice.
It's bottled at 40%, just to please everyone, because rum lovers and actually also people that they want to get introduced to the rum world,
So this is all natural?
That's all natural. Madeira rum has no sugar, no color.
Okay, no sugar, no color.
Nothing.
Okay.
Everything is made from sugarcane juice, and it can be called agricole because of the geographical indication of Madeira. So, and as we were talking about before, in the barrel room, in the other barrel room, here is the rule of 6. So we age it for 6 years because if we would have opened it at 5 years, we could have not called it 5 years. We should have called it 3 years. So we think that 6 years for Madeira rum is it's good. It has, as you can taste, body. It has character. But at the same time, lots of color. Of course, the interaction with the wood because of the altitude of the distillery. During the day it's very hot. During the night it gets colder. So the wood breathes a lot, and it gives a lot of the interaction with the wood is a lot. So cheers.
Cheers. Oh, very caramelly, very oaky.
Yeah.
Love it. And very sweet.
And that, the different sort of barrels that we use give all those different layers, but it's still a balanced product overall. So.
I was about to say, age is not everything, but location of maturation is a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and
this
is very important.
Or like, we are from Whisky.com, so we come from a very whiskey sort of way. So in terms of like oakness, that is like 15, like 18 or something like that. Of course, it does have the reductive maturation as well, but it has a lot of and the depth in it, like 5 different casks. I like it.
Yeah. It's the layers, and to be honest, because of the green notes of the, of course, the sugarcane juice, this would be, it's very pleasant for whiskey lovers as well. You can get that.
You have a little bit of a hint of that, what I've tasted from the still.
Exactly,
a little bit of that green note, but the oak is strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like it. So Have a look. You can get these, the William Hinton, 6 years old. You can get it on Whisky.com. Have a look in the shop. You will find it there if you want to buy from Netherlands or Germany or Austria or Belgium now as well. Oh, okay. I love it. That is really, really good. So that is like the flagship.
That's kind of the flagship because we try to maintain the blend always the same flavor profile. We do age a lot of this, and because, as I said, it's a good introduction to rum for people that are not used to rum, and it's good for rum lovers as well because you can just sit even with a cigar and it's perfect, you know.
Yeah, it's still typical rum, but it has a lot of depth in it.
Shall we move on to the Madeira cask?
Please.
Okay, so this is our. So we do a whole line of single casks. So basically, we age these in different casks, and then we blend them all together with a bit of very old 25 years old rum that we have here, very old rum, and again we do a second aging. This time it depends on the cask. For example, for the Madeira, depending on the year, depending on the type of cask, we can do a couple of years, we can do 2 years and a half. For port, we can do 3 years, or we can do less, depending on the type of cask. Here, you name it, we have any sort of cask, but my personal favorite is Madeira. And the whiskey cask. The whiskey cask is actually excellent as well.
We do have the whiskey cask listed on the website. You can find it on Whisky.com, but we're gonna have a look if we can find that through our importer as well.
And yeah, basically we do second aging. What I like about the fortified wine sort of aging is the fact that at the beginning it gives you lots of sweetness, but then after a good 6 to 9 months it starts turning into dry notes. So you get a lot of that. I usually, when I do tastings, I never give personal tastings because you know, you are your own.
I'm very susceptible to the suggestions.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, you might say passion fruit, and I might not, you know, feel the passion fruit, but definitely from Madeira you get a little bit of peppery notes, almost spicy in the end, but still at 42%, very pleasant.
It starts off typical rum, a little bit of that distillery character, a lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel, and as you said, a little bit more of this heftier notes, a bit of spiciness, a little bit of a oaky touch to it, a little bit of a
bit of cloves, kind of nutmeg as well.
It feels a little bit like Christmas as well.
Exactly. You see how it's elegant and clean at the beginning, but then you get all those layers and those spicy.
It starts off really like a little bit of a cake, and then it goes into all the Christmas flavors like ginger, was it gingerbread?
Exactly, yeah.
like that. A little bit of a cinnamon note to it. No, I like it. I like it. So these are like, so you have really, these are like all the mixed casks, and these are like the pure casks?
Basically, yeah, we do, this is the second aging, which is very important, of course, the finish, which is not really a finish because it's quite long, you know, sometimes it can be 8 months, but usually it's around the 2 years mark, kind of, depending on the master blender whenever it decides that the rum tastes as it should taste.
Must be really hard to do a finish with all the, Tex-Man and stuff.
Yeah, that's, but yeah, I mean, it's what we do here at the distillery. We always try to try new stuff, and we always, as I said, we have lots of casks, and for these lines of the single cask, in the future we might, change some of them in a way that we might bring up some special cask that no one is using here for rum. So,
okay. Good.
And then we can move to a sort of a bomb, because of course we go onto higher levels. This is 69%.
69%, okay.
69%. This is not a rum that we like to say is Madeira. It's not the classic Madeira rum profile because it's not. It's made with natural fermentation. So it's a short-ish natural fermentation compared to what they do in the Caribbean.
Okay.
It's still, of course, quite a week-long fermentation, kind of. Sorry. It depends on the master blender again.
A week,
but
okay.
It's about 3 to 5 days, depending. But of course, natural fermentation will bring all the natural environment that there's around the distillery. So this is going to be much more like hay, like and like very green, very vegetable sort of rum. And yes, it's not our typical product, but we like to play around, and this is fantastic. We only produce 2,500 bottles of this every year.
Okay, so this is like you told me before. Is that the special product, like end of the season?
Kind of. Not because it's all the leftovers, but it's just because, of course, when we start on the 1st of April, we really put ourselves into making traditional Madeira style rum. And then throughout the season, throughout the 2.5 months that we squeeze and we distill, we try to play around with the products. We do also a prolonged fermentation sort of experiment, but also we do a natural fermentation, because around here, as I said, because we are surrounded by the forest, the natural sort of yeast will come to play.
How often did you do it? Like, did you do it like twice, thrice? How many years did you already do it?
Well, it's been now a good 6 years that we have this product.
Is it always the same, or does it change?
No, the good thing is that this is one of the products. So these products, of course, we always have consistency with it because of how it's distilled, and now it's been aged. But this one, because it's nature coming to play. It's never consistent. Of course, there's that flavor profile which is always there, but then along that line, every year you pick different sort of flavors. So
okay. Ooh, okay.
it's also it's a sort of a collectible item, because then next year it will taste slightly different. So,
but this is really, I think it does have some Easter in it.
and of course, much drier on the tongue because of also the percentage.
Oh yeah.
But if you think about it, 69%, it doesn't really feel like it's quite smooth. I know that for us everything is smooth, but
but it has a bit of a crispy flavor to it. It has a bit of that Easter flavor to it. It's a bit hefty, a bit stronger. Also, yeah, the alcoholic touch to it.
well, of course, I mean, it's perfect in cocktails as well, because, for example, if you make daiquiris and you use our 40% classic white rum, and you put 10 milliliters of this, of course, we'll open up all the flavors and we'll give you much more of the green notes.
Yes, it's strange to put your finger on what it tastes like, because it's very different to, like, I would say, normal food flavors.
Exactly.
It's strange. I would say it's a bit of a yeasty, crispy, maybe some nuts, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's hard to put your finger
For me,
on.
I grew up in a farm, and this reminds me a lot of the smell in the farm, because, of course, natural fermentation with the yeast around, it gives you that sort of
Usually, I would probably say green grassy hay, but I've seen the other. I've tasted the other white rum, and that was very hay, green, grassy, and it still has that grassy green touch to it as well. I like it though. It's I would say it's an expert product.
Of course, absolutely, that for sure.
Okay, so that was really great. Yeah, if you want to have a look at the William Hinton products, go to Whisky.com in the shop. You will find some products there. We will list them, a few more of them probably. And yeah, thank you very much for showing them up and showing me the whiskeys.
It's a pleasure.
And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And if you like this video, then please feel free to share it with your friends, and see you next time.